Welcome to the broadcast. I'm about to bring on a good friend of mine, and you're in for a special treat. He goes by Hydro, but his real name is Anthony Riddle. Anthony Riddle. So, one of my good connections from Kansas City, Missouri, or as I like to call it, Kansas City Misery. Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Not much. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
This is pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me see if I can get some better light on me.
Yeah, last time I tried to do Facebook Live with the other guy, like the signal was not that great for some reason.
Let me see.
Even with 4 bars. So I was like, and then I tried Instagram, and so far Instagram is way better than all the other options like YouTube Live, Facebook Live. So I'm rolling with this.
It's dope.
But yeah. How's your And I like the interface too, because like if you do like a Skype, you gotta try to screen record and all that. Yeah, this is easy. So yeah, how's your day going, man?
Pretty good. Just what have I done? Just really working on my working on my project, and just getting my stuff together.
Yeah.
I'm about to move back to my mom's, so that because this job that I'm getting is 7 minutes away from her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing a heating and cooling apprenticeship. So I'm excited about that.
Doing the HVAC stuff. Is that? Did you say you're like a uncle or something like that was doing that?
My grandpa has his own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
He has some. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. It'll definitely fuel my dream.
Yeah.
And being able to stay with my mom's, although it's not something I want to do, it'll give me I'll be able to save up, to be able to get out and get my own place, because I'm been debt free for about 5 or 6 months now.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
So
congrats on that, man. That's a good feeling. Not having that over your head.
Sure, man.
Are you on Wi-Fi right now, or are you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cause good. It's good, but it's like doing this random like for a minute, like someone say you got like a twitch, and then like now it's blurry. Whatever you just did made it blurry. What'd you just do?
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm like, I may have to go out and come back in.
Did you turn on a filter or something?
No, I just was checking to see if my Wi-Fi was on. Like I just pulled the top of my screen down.
I'll X you out and I'll bring you back on.
Okay.
All right.
I guess I must have had something on my hand when I went down and checked it.
Yeah, the smoky look going on. So yeah, real quick. So you're not gonna do the airline? You're not gonna do the airline thing? You just get
airline thing.
Weren't you gonna do the airline? Weren't you thinking about doing that? Possibly.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. But I don't know if I tell you that I'm a part of a funk band now.
Oh no, that's dope. Is it with your boy Lewis?
Nah, man, Lou's actually about to head to North Dakota to work on a pipeline.
Oh, okay. There's gonna be some good money up there.
Right.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah. It's gonna be cold, but he's got a pretty good gig lined up, like with the oil rigs. He's got a friend who works on like the X-ray machines there, to where you inspect the pipes. So he'll start that. Excuse me, in like 3 months, so he won't have to be outside the whole time.
That's what's up. Do you and then so you say you're a part? You joined a funk band? What's the name of it?
It's Sorry. Oh yeah. Is JC the new king of funk?
JC.
Um, yeah.
Is it like
JC.
Jesus Christ? Oh.
No, no. His name is Jewel Carter.
That would be
No,
hilarious.
right? Yeah. No. It's not Christian based.
The Christian Parliament.
Man.
Y'all worried?
No, man.
Hey, so, that's what's up, man. Y'all got any music recorded yet?
No. At the moment, we're just working towards touring. So the first show is March 30th in Louisiana.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. There aren't going to be any shows in KC, so I'm really excited about that.
All right, time out. I'm doing like the interview backwards all of a sudden. My bad, bro. I started getting it. So we're gonna get to that. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Real quick. All right, we do the whole little introduction or whatever, and then we'll get right into it. So, all right, my name is Aaron J. Yancey. Today I have my special guest, Anthony Riddle, aka Hydro, aka many other names that I probably don't even know about. But yeah, say hi to everybody, man.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. So I started this whole Job Jumper Journeys vlog, ongoing documentary, whatever you want to call it. And I wrote this book called Job Jumper Journeys, how I've had over 31 jobs from 31. And as an extension of that, I wanted to be able to have an excuse to just talk to people of all walks of life about their journey, about different jobs they've had, what they wanted to be when they grew up, all that good stuff. So just an excuse to just do these kind of conversations with people. I feel like people don't do it enough and hear each other's stories. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. So Anthony,
Yes.
what for you, man, like when you were a kid, like, you know, like every kid is different, but usually around the time you're like 5 to 8 or whatever, people start asking, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? So like, if you can like think back that far, like for you, what were some of the things that like popped in your head of things that you saw yourself doing?
I wanted to play in the NFL. Hold on, give me just a second.
Oh yeah. Don't tell me you seen ghosts up in there. Get that. Welcome to the broadcast, Phil Josiah. Welcome. Conspiracy Bro 4. Welcome to the broadcast, man.
I'm sorry about that. Let me see.
You said you wanted to be in the NFL?
Yeah, I really wanted to be in the NFL. Bad. Like I was super fast. As a kid, I was playing against kids that were like, and when I was 6 and 7, I was playing against kids who were like 12 and 13, and I was running past them easy. I was just like, I thought I was Superman. Thought I was super cool. But yeah, that was definitely on the top of my list. NFL.
Was that like, how old were you around? Was it like 5, 6, or?
It was about 7 or 8.
Nice. Were you like playing like little Pop Warner or something like that locally, or?
No. I was just playing backyard ball. Just in the backyard. Yeah, nothing organized.
And I know you better but everybody else out here doesn't really know you. So like, where? Tell everybody real quick your name, and then once again, we got some new people, and then like, where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you born and raised and all that?
Sure. All right. So my name is Anthony Riddle. I was born and raised in Kansas City. Many different parts of Kansas City. Mainly like growing up from birth to about 8 years old, it was South Kansas City, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, moved to Kansas City, Kansas. Went to 4 different elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 2 different high schools. 1 high school in Kansas City, Kansas, J.C. Harmon, and then I went to I graduated from Northeast High School.
Now, so what was that like for you in once you got to like high school? Did that change, the whole football dreams change? Did you start playing football, or how did you develop into Like, what did you start thinking you wanted to do next after that? Like in high school, once you got to high school.
Okay. So, my freshman year, I played. Well, first, okay, I'll go back just a little bit to middle school when I started playing. Uh, I started playing baseball. Well, first I was running track, and then I was playing baseball. And I found out that track season and baseball season started at the same time, so I was like, oh, I got to play baseball. I started to get once I realized that I wasn't gonna get that big, and because I thought I was gonna be as big as my dad. My dad is 6'2", 250 pounds. So I was like, yeah, I'm right. I was like, I'm going to the NFL. But then I got my mom's side of the family, which she's 4'11". I don't know her weight, and if I did, I wouldn't tell it. But so I got her side of the family's height, and couldn't gain a pound. Like my metabolism super fast. Like I've been out of high school for 12 years, and I haven't. I've gained probably 3 pounds since then.
Oh wow.
But going back to so then I was playing baseball. I played my first year of football, of organized football in ninth grade. Realized the how rough it was and the impact that it was going to do on my body, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to stick to this. So I started falling in love with baseball. So then my dream was to play in the MLB. I at least wanted to play on another level than high school. And so yeah, that's how that transitioned from in high school. And then I also wanted to be a counselor. I started to I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian for years. And so I started to I was always debating people off of what they believed and everything. But my senior year, I remember hearing God tell me to just be quiet and listen to people. And so as I did that, I recognized that people started to open up to me more, and they started to feel more of a connection. And I believe that was Christ through me.
Wow.
And so that was like me being so that was definitely one thing that I wanted to do, was like be a counselor and study psychology.
Wow.
So I know I can keep talking, so I'm gonna let you ask more questions.
No, that's real good, man. If you just keep going, I ain't gonna cut you off. So like leading into that, so in high school you started to feel that, I'm good, because I remember I met you when you were in high school, right? You were in high school, right?
No, you met me when I was about 22.
Okay.
21 or 22.
Man, you're so young looking, man. I always forget that you're 20. You're 26, 8 now. 29.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, time is flying too. That's the other thing. Like,
right, fast.
So like when I met you, you were because you started working in that youth department though, like at the church at Sheffield or whatever.
Yeah, right after high school.
Okay, cool. So you so talk about like your transition from high school to college and like what that was like, or did you go right into college, or what was that like for you?
Okay, so that transition was going from high school. I was originally going to go to the Navy. I had taken my test and everything. All I needed to do was sign the papers, and I would have been ready to get shipped off. But my baseball coach came to me and said that, hey, we got a scholarship, for you from Avila University. And I was like, oh, cool, sweet. I'm excited. It was a full ride, everything. I was like, well, that's cool. So then all I needed to do was score a 20 on my ACT. I was a terrible test taker, and I was taking an ACT prep class, and the class was just jokes the whole day. Like we could barely get anything done because the teacher couldn't keep control of his class. Now, I can use that as an excuse, but it's no excuse for me not, being able to get a 20 on the ACT score. But so I didn't get the scholarship because of my ACT scores. I took it twice, and then they said I should go to community college to become eligible for the scholarship. So I was like, okay. I'll do that. I went to try out for the baseball team there at Longview Community College. Did that, and didn't hear back from the coach. They were impressed with my speed, but that was about it, I guess. And I that's when I remember feeling the most depressed and just feeling like maybe this isn't for me, because I didn't like my classes. I didn't like anything really about school, and I was so excited to be able to play baseball. But my last year of playing baseball was 2007, and I haven't played since then. So uh, that transitioned me into uh, arts, and I started miming again, and then I bought a keyboard in 2019. No, I'm sorry, no, it's not 2019. When I was 19, so 2008. And then I started playing songs and learning how to play, learning how to play and write songs at the same time. So that's how I kind of transitioned into music, because baseball wasn't there for me, and it was just like I needed an outlet. And my friend that recently passed away in April of wait, hold on, let me get this timeline right. Okay, so 2009 when I got the keyboard. February 2009 I got the keyboard. Started writing songs. 2008 my friend passed away in April, and he wrote poetry with no rhymes. He never rhymed anything. And I remember seeing him win a poetry contest at school, and he was dope. And he purposely didn't rhyme. He wanted that to be um his mantra, or his thing. Yeah. So that was cool, and I was inspired from him, and I started writing like that, and I've been doing music ever since, pretty much. So that's what
Wow.
kind of how things transition.
That's crazy.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. Keep going.
And also at the time of me doing mime and learning how to do music and stuff, I started doing drama with my sister as like um, a co-director of drama for the youth at our church from the ages of 18 to 22. I was in some plays. I played Moses. I did a mime in that same play. Then I played Satan in a play called Tribulation Christmas. That was the most that is what birthed Hydro, and so we'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so that's kind of the
Man, like that's the hardest thing for me doing these interviews. I should like really take notes as I'm doing them, because like every time somebody says something, my brain is like, it stops on what they like, that last thing, like, dang, like that's dope, like I have something else to ask you about that. So
yeah. Okay.
it's just
Okay.
funny that I've known you this long, but I didn't know that full story about your that baseball situation and like school and everything. Like in a way, it kind of reminds me of like when I took the LSAT and I got a 147 twice. I needed like above a 150 something to get into law school, whatever. And so I got my ACT. I think I got like 22, and I'm like, and I really didn't even study for that as much. Like I had the practice books, so I was like, I ain't studying for this thing, because at the time I just didn't really. When you're that young, I feel like you kind of care, but you kind of don't care at the same time, like, unless you really have parents who are like super duper strict, you know, like boy, you put it in there and you gonna like, you're not leaving this, you're not doing anything until you study, and you know, so or you got some like a coach in your corner, like, hey, you could do this, like, so I can relate to that in so many ways. So like going back, you said so the music stuff, you didn't start that. Oh no, one other thing, your buddy who passed away, did he publish any of his work at all?
I don't know. He was in college. He was about 21 when he passed. I would have to ask his sister or his mom.
Yeah.
If he published anything.
See if you could get some of his stuff, man. Like, and DM me his name and all that, because I would love to just like, when I'm on here, just read some of his stuff. Like, because I've been reading people's books, and I got this whole idea of keep doing recordings of me reading poems and quotes of books. So anyway, if you can get that info, man, send it over to me. I love it. Like, I feel like the best way to keep somebody alive is through their art. or their
I
writing,
agree.
their
I agree.
story, their story. So, what was the other thing you said? So music, yeah. Did you start doing that before high school, or that all started like around that time, like when you got the keyboard on it? Were you doing music and dance? You seem like you've been doing music, dancing for at least dance, especially, and music as well for a while.
Right. So, um, I'll start with dancing. Dancing. I started after I saw the movie Breaking in 1999. Uh, I saw that. I wanted to be Turbo so bad, and so my brother and I, like, we didn't have a large mirror, so we would stand in front of our TV, like, turned off, and like we could see our reflection in the TV, and we would just dance in front of it and try to put just try to put moves together. And I remember he'd do like a lot of groundwork stuff, and he could pop lock and stuff too. But but he but yeah, then I just, he was always into music. My brother was making beats and doing stuff, and I always wanted to be like him. I was like, oh my God, he's so cool, and
How much older is he again than you?
just 2 years,
Oh,
just
okay.
2 years.
Cool.
But
Cool.
he's so much taller than me
Yeah.
that
Cool.
that I distance myself from from him as far as like age as well. Uh, but so I started dancing, and I started dancing at church. Before that, actually, slightly before that, and then after that, I danced. Yeah, I would just dance at church pretty much. Just do human videos and dramas and things like that. But I I always wanted to do something different because the the storylines for the human videos were always almost the same, and it drove me crazy because I grew up as a critic. I was always criticizing somebody's music, or how a pastor would preach, or just just anything. And so that's where music comes in for me, because I had I believe I've been introduced to some of the best music ever, like Motown, like the old school stuff, and the stuff that really um, brought the soul out, in people and connected with people. I I was introduced to that at a young age from, and it didn't really matter the race of people, just as long as they, their craft was good. And my mom introduced us to a lot of good music, and I I kind of was upset with her because I couldn't get with the music today. As a kid, it was just like I was constantly arguing with people about how terrible music was today and how it has no feeling, and I can't feel a thing, but
Yeah.
but so when I started doing music, I wanted I wanted my music to be classic. Like that was my number one goal, was like, if I don't do anything, I want my music to be able to play 20, 30, 40 years from now and still feel the same as now. It's not, it wasn't an era or a certain time when this type of music was played. Like, I just want it to be classic. So that's timeless, yeah. Timeless for sure.
So you you didn't do the baseball thing at Avila. You went to community college for a while, and and then you ended up dropping out, right?
Yep, I did 2 semesters at Longview. No, I think I did 1 semester actually. Yeah, at Longview, and I was just like, I'm wasting my money because I don't want to do this.
That's long. You talking about the Longview and Lee Summit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they actually have like one of the best. Just, I don't know if you knew it. They have like the best baseball team in the country, like for JUCO. So like,
yeah.
You were
Like,
that wasn't just you. Like when you were trying to get on, like that was like you had picked like the Yankees, JUCO baseball, or whatever. And so,
right? No.
the Cardinals. We said Cardinals. They doing, yeah. but and also like too, like I learned when I went to Truman, like you really have to. I was trying to walk on their basketball team. you really have to be there at like all the tryout, like not the trials, but the like conditioning. Like you got to be there before the tryouts there, and like get to know the players and the coaches, and like really almost
Get in there.
network. Yeah, it's about more about
Yep.
networking. So like when it comes
Yep.
time for the audition or whatever, they just say, all right, this is a formality or whatever. So
Right.
so you went from base, you didn't do that, and then what happened there? Did you work like some odd jobs, and like what happened after that?
Yeah, I was working at Kohl's while I was going to college. I was doing Kohl's in the evening and working. Going to school in the mornings and then going to working at Kohl's in Overland Park in the evening time, and that was it was cool. It was easy. It was a retail job. But I started off the first 3 months overnight, I think, and then I started doing evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was that transition was crazy. It was pretty easy though. I was doing cleaning as well. I was doing housekeeping, so I didn't start doing retail.
Like hotels, kind of housekeeping in hotels, kind of thing, or at
I was doing housekeeping at Kohl's.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
was that your first job, or did you like work anything else? Did you ever like get introduced to entrepreneurship early on, or, before you?
Nah. My first job was when I was 12. We raked leaves for some company. When I think about it now, I think the guys were pretty shady. I don't know why. Like it just felt like they were shady. Like as a kid.
You just got paid though, right?
I did get paid. It was like $60 a week or something like that. But I mean, as a kid with no bills, like
yeah,
that's that's cash.
That's candy and video game money right there.
Exactly.
Nice. And so you, but Kohl's is like your real first, or I guess corporate kind of job, or after that, or?
Let me see. Yeah, pretty much. In between, summertime, I did. I was a trash man. That was an adventure. Like that was the funnest 2 months of my life. My gosh, I had never I was always thought about being a trash man. I was like, I wonder what that's like, and it was a blast.
Like Death and Ball, or like one of the big ones. Waste management
for Jim's Disposal.
Hey, that's the black-owned business, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Up in KC, yeah.
Yep. I went to church with the owners of it. At the time, because I had left Sheffield, and then for like 3 years came and then came there.
Wow.
But
hold on, you were going to Harvest up in North KC?
No. I was going to a church called Greater Holy Temple.
Okay. Never heard.
Yeah.
Of that. So you
that was small coach it.
And you were like 16, 18 at the time, you said, or
16 when I was a trash man, and man, stories crazy. Like I had one story where I wasn't sure of any of the routes, and I did different routes every day because I was just a temp. I was filling in.
You on
so
the back of the
paid.
truck. You on the back of the truck, right? Just like
yeah, yep,
yeah.
Yeah, I was getting paid like $40 a day, so
But
it was just like 10.
But you had to know like which, when you say route, just to clarify, you had to know like which houses you had to pick up trash from, because it wasn't always labeled on the trash can, that kind of thing.
Yeah. They like because you ride with somebody. There's a driver and there's two trash men, and like one trash guy. He always let me know like, hey, this is where you pick up, and this is where you do that stuff. So I was trying to be proactive one day, and we were on like the side of this road, and there was a trash bag there. So I went to grab it and go to pick it up, and the guy was like, no, and like this dead dog fell out, and it hit my foot. Like I screamed so loud. Bro, I screamed bloody murder, man. I was like, this is disgusting. Like I saw the dog's eyes closed. Its head hit my foot, So it wasn't like just like another part of the body. It was the head.
At least it was a dead body though. That would have been even.
Oh my God.
In Kansas City,
Yeah.
Kansas City. Was surprised to, but
Man, I probably would have went home. I was like, all right, I'm done for the day. I'm scarred.
wow,
Right.
that's cool.
But yeah, so that was crazy. I fell into the trash truck one time, like trying to swing a bag into the trash can. I mean, into the trash truck. So I fell in there while it was going. So I had to kind of wait for them to stop to get out of there. That was funny.
I've heard stories of people falling in, like at the bigger facility. They have like I guess a big grinder or something like that. I heard dudes fall in them suckers. Like, yeah. So yeah, it's good they got you out, man. So you did that. Did you ever have anybody introduce you to like working for yourself at all? Like originally, or did you try to do that?
Not at that point, no. I ran into that at Kohl's actually when I was working at Kohl's. Actually, I still know the guy to this day. It was Amway.
Oh yeah, classic.
Right. So right. So this guy saw me and I was dressed because I used to dress to the T when I worked at Kohl's.
That's how they find you.
Right. I was in a shirt and tie and I was smiling and saying hi to everybody, and I love working in customer service. Just helping the customers, getting them what they need on time. If we don't have it here, I can call another store for you. It was fun. But yeah, one guy stopped me. I was at the cash register and he was just looking at me like, hey man, such and such, this and that, and just talking to me. I was like, okay, cool, and he gave me his number. Was like, no, he saw me one day, then came back a few days later, and was like, hey man, I want to know if you'd be interested in, and hanging out sometime or doing something like that. I was like, yeah, what are you about? And he was just gave me really small details, of course, because they don't want to be too overbearing. But he never introduced me. I mean, he never gave me the layout of the business, and I was just I was kind of waiting for that, and I think that he was just trying to butter me up so much to where I would have no problem with it. But I'm just not that kind of person. I'm like, all right, once we get to a certain point, I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Are we just hanging out? What's going on?
Yeah, close.
And then he would always tell me about the success stories, and I'm not a person who's moved by that, because if I don't work like that, I'm not gonna get that, and I know that. I'm like, just tell me what people are doing to get there, don't tell me about them when they get there, or how they're already established. So I was about 22 at that time when I found out about that. I was 19 or 20, trying to think, because I had been at Kohl's. I worked for Kohl's for almost 6 years.
Oh wow.
That was it was the longest stint of a job that I had. But so from that, and when I transitioned out of Kohl's is when I joined the military.
Wow.
And that was a wake-up call for me for sure.
What made you originally choose? Because you chose it was Army, all right. What made you choose that versus all other ones?
I knew the lady that worked in jewelry at my job at Kohl's. Her husband was a recruiter for the Army National Guard.
Oh wow!
Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right. So I honestly, I look back on it now. Of course, I would have done things differently. I would have either gone active or waited for this Air Force recruiter and get back with this Air Force recruiter, because I called him. He told me he'd call me back. He didn't call me back for 6 months. But he called me back, because they were super busy.
Yeah.
But I would have gone Air Force if I could go back now. I would have gone Air Force for sure, because they have so many jobs that transition from the Air Force to the civilian world. I think it's like 80% of their jobs transfer over to the civilian world, whereas in in the Army, I don't know the percentage, but I know a lot of the jobs, and a lot of the jobs are specifically for Army equipment or Army based things, and so you're not really you're you basically have to retire in the Army if you really want to do it right,
Wow.
because yeah, that's honestly the best way to do it.
So you ended up, yeah, I can relate to that. I think I already told you I almost did Air Force Reserves, but that's a whole another story. So so you got in there, and what was that experience like for you, just being in the Army National Guard?
Oh, jeez. It showed me so much about myself, I would say.
Oh,
It was an
time out before you go any further. Have you ever taken a personality test? Like one of those Myers-Briggs ones?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I
I'm
haven't.
gonna send you a link to that. It's like 16personalities.com, because I'm in this like ENF. It's like ENFP, and then the letters. Don't ask me right now, but they each stand for something. But like, it's funny. Like, I'm in these groups on Facebook, and I don't know, personalities mean a lot. So anyway, I'm just curious to kind of know what your personality really is like, to kind of see how that affected you. Like, if you were even a good fit for the military, like if you should even ever gone in the military. From this guessing, I'm thinking no, you like just based on your personality. But I don't know, keep going. I'm sorry. I was just thinking that before you go on.
You're good, man. I realized how stubborn I was, how much I didn't like authority. I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't like this. Like, I thought that I would fit right in, and I'd be like, yeah, hoorah, go Army. But I was very much like, what is the point of this? And I understand the intensity that they put you under during basic training is to get you kind of in a war mindset on how to operate through, how to operate properly through stressful situations. So I definitely understand that. It's definitely 90% more of a mental game than it is physical. For people who don't do physical activity, it was definitely tough. But for someone who's in at least decent shape, working out 3 or 4 times a week, it was nothing. The physical stuff was like, it's a joke, know. But other than that, I would say the basic training showed me the most about myself, as far as my strengths, my weaknesses, how well I work in a team, how much of a leader I am, and what I understood. And something that I'm still working on is that I am a leader, but I don't like to lead.
Like you don't have to be in front of people. Like you can lead by like example. I'm guessing you're saying.
Yes, I don't mind leading by example. Just like, okay, I'll do that. But I'm like, don't count on me. Don't bet your bottom dollar on me. Type of thing. It's kind of like, I'll do it on my own. If there's something that you can get out of what I do, then cool. But don't put these expectations over me. And I learned that's just a fear, and it's something that God is working on me with. Because it definitely was like that when I was back at Sheffield, and I was put in this limelight of being this person who was very talented, and so kids look up to you, when you have talents, and when you can do things that they consider cool. And so I was like, sometimes it felt like I was walking on eggshells. Like, I had to make sure that everything that I say, is godly, is holy, and make sure that my heart is pure when I say something, or when I speak to someone or correct someone. And so it was a different. It was definitely something for me. I wish that I sought after a mentor like, hey, I need somebody to help me with this life because I'm not calculating things right because I feel like I'm leading people and I'm not being led, type of thing. That's kind of where I was going through um, the youth when I was a co-director in the youth department in the drama department, and then I was really looking for a mentor when I joined the military, and did not find one, and God, I felt that God was telling me that that He's giving me all the things that I need, but I definitely I need someone to be accountable to, and and someone who can guide me and and help lead me towards what I need to do in life for my purpose, for everything. But joining the military was an eye opener. It was like it was basically like just being a part of the government. When you think about or like being a part of the best and worst parts of America.
Because
pretty much.
Y'all do your basic training down there with the actual Army people, right? Like
yes.
everybody down there.
Yes, it's all inclusive until you go back to your unit. So I did my schooling and everything with people who were full-time Army, Army Reserves, and then Army National Guard, which is what I was. But yeah, it's all pretty much all the same.
You got any crazy stories from that time period, from being down there? Because you were down in Dallas, right? Or no, that's the Air Force is at. Y'all go to where'd you do your basic at?
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, that was it's beautiful down there, man. But stories. Let me see. There's one story I have. It was during our processing. Okay, so when you get down there for your processing, they kind of snap you into this mode of like no sleep. So you get there and they're like, all right, you get all your stuff, you get processed in, get your name, all that stuff processed in, and they send you upstairs up to your barracks, put your stuff up, go to sleep. 30 minutes later, they're like, we need everybody downstairs. So we get up and we're like, okay, everybody's kind of excited and kind of nervous. It's like, ooh, this is the crazy stuff that people talk about. So then we go down, we go downstairs and we go all into this auditorium, and there's these drill sergeants that are screaming their heads off at people for falling asleep. So that crap kept me awake because I was laughing so hard. I was laughing, and I would see people. Doing the heavy nods, boy. I was like, oh, here he comes. Waiting for the drill sergeant to come up and grill him, man. That crap was hilarious. I'd be talking to people, they'd be falling asleep mid-sentence. Like, it was serious, man. People crazy. I mean, it was crazy. But then I got held back for another week because I had to because you're supposed to have 2 pairs of summer boots and one pair of winter boots, and they only had 1 pair of summer boots in my size. So then I had to stay back a week. I was a holdover, and for like the first 3 days, we did nothing. Like we ate breakfast, and then we came back to the room, and then we ate, and then we went back, ate lunch, came back to the room, and then we went back, ate dinner, came back to the room. That's how it was for 3 days. So I'm thinking like, this is sweet. No, it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks that I was held back. That's right. It was 2 weeks, and I was like, this is freaking cool. And then and then reality kicked in, and we were shoveling rocks for the next for the rest of the time, shoveling rocks, man, doing all these details, cleaning bathrooms. It was annoying.
You just got in trouble or something like that, or like?
No, like when you get held over, you just do the dirty work. I mean, because because they're paying you, so
Are you like waiting for your tech training or something like that, or?
this was waiting for basic training.
Also, this is kind of like it's not the delayed enlistment programs. It's like once you get down there and you get down there, but you're waiting for basic.
Yeah, so you get down there and you spend a week processing. So they're getting all your all your medical information, getting all the things that like you need to do.
Birth certificate, getting all that there, and all your documentation and all that's getting stored in there.
Yeah, it's such a long process, and they say that they spend $20,000 on each soldier. Like, this is what's said. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't done any research, but like they were like, each soldier, gets $20,000 spent on them. So if you feel like you don't want to go and you want to go home, like there was a cat. Okay, we were in basic training. there was this guy who like when the stress happens, like it takes over some people, right? So there was a guy who what was his name? Shoot, I don't remember his name. He was a black kind of stocky guy, and he said he was going to go Full Metal Jacket on one of the drill sergeants, right? and so one of our battle buddies, or one of the soldiers there told one of the drill sergeants that. So then another drill sergeant flips out on him, and he's freaking going crazy, and like when they like pull a soldier aside, or like they pull a platoon aside, and they make you do push-ups, make you do all this stuff, like for misbehaving, it's called getting smoked. So it's like they smoked him for a while, and
all right, so welcome back. Sorry about that. I forgot that it only allows you to go for an hour on here. So I'm going to bring my buddy back, and we're going to do normally these interviews only like 30 minutes, but this is a good friend of mine. I've talked to him for I've known Anthony since I've known him since like 2010, 2011. Hey, welcome back, Dre Fire. So it's good because there's some stories I haven't even heard from him before. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the second half of this. I'm gonna bring him back on, and we're gonna go and wrap up the rest of the interview here. Let's see here. I'm gonna bring him back here. Bam, Anthony. Welcome back, Dre Fire. We're just doing the second half of this Job Jumper Journeys interview. Looks like it should work. Yeah, sorry about that. I always forget that, like, on here, they don't let you go for an hour, and then like just automatically just cut you off. They don't warn you, so you gotta like look at the clock and stuff. So, but you're good though. This is good stuff. So, we can kind of like start talking about like your time after the military, and then like what you do now, and then wrap it up from there. So, real quick, it's funny, man. You got like, all right, my brother. All right, I'll warn you right now. He is a little vulgar. We're like almost. I love my brother to death. He's like my brother. We're just a little bit different in some ways. So you got to check out though his he has this podcast called the Red Leg Podcast. And this, I think it's Red Leg, and I'll send you the link. But if you ever just like have nothing else to do, or you just kind of need some like background, something to listen to, it's funny because he's talking about all his experiences like in the Army. He did like 7 years, And yeah, it's pretty funny, man. Some,
I know he got some stories,
we
boy.
saw combat over there in Iraq, Afghanistan,
Yeah.
Kuwait.
Sure.
Had some buddies pass, like, get killed over there. So yeah, shout out to my big brother Les Yancey. Yeah,
For sure.
cool. So yeah, you were there, down there, and you wrapped up basic. And then, like, what was your MOS? Like, or
Supply.
supplies? So
I did supply, yeah.
yeah, that's not the easiest thing to get a job with afterward. Like, it's not like
No, I mean,
like a technical.
it's
You go work at a warehouse, but
right. I mean, it's better than nothing. I mean, you can if you get to a certain level. I had a sergeant who became a manager at Walmart, like a supply manager, like, but it was a high level,
oh yeah,
like a good paying salary job. So I mean, it's definitely possible.
yeah,
But really, one thing that I really learned is that everything in life is up to you. You know, that's what I learned, and like to kind of take more control of the situations that you have, or of the situations that are presented in front of you.
yeah.
Especially when it comes to choosing your job. If it was up to me, I would have chose a chaplain assistant. If I knew that that was a job that existed. Because a chaplain assistant, because like the chaplains they can't carry weapons, right? And so they have to basically have a bodyguard,
Oh,
and
wow.
the bodyguard helps them set up for church, like helps them come up with flyers and bullets and things. And I was like, that would have been cool for me. That would have been easy. And you don't have to be lifting heavy stuff. You don't have to do anything like that. There's a little more freedom in that. And I kind of wish that I did that, because you're hanging out with the captain all day. That's pretty much what you do, because all chaplains are captains. I think so. There might be lieutenants. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty. All the chaplains that I saw were captains.
Wow.
But yeah. So if I could go back, I would definitely be a chaplain assistant, and I'll probably still be in. But
You kind of picked supply because they were giving like scholarship money, more money, or bonus incentives. Like that.
No, it was according to the unit that I was going to.
Like they had need, I guess, for that. Yeah.
Right. So if I was going, and that's another reason why I would go active, because the jobs would be pretty much limitless. I mean, there would be a vast amount of more. There'd be a lot more options to choose from, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, man. Because I can't do it because my little personal situation. Like I can't do it until like June if I do it. But
Okay.
I'm debating. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle all that structure, man. Like I'll be that dude sleeping in there and like sleep. Like I hate doing push-ups, man. Like I got little chicken wing arms. I could run probably, but not all this. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I think you'd learn how to adapt, because when you know, like, the security behind it, because I won't lie, there's a lot of security behind it as far as like finances go and stuff, especially for men with parents.
Yeah.
You know, if you have children, you know, and those that have spouses and stuff, there are a lot of benefits, and the TRICARE that they have, the insurance that they have, it's crazy. I mean, it's really good, especially if you have a lot of kids.
The closest thing I've even seen to TRICARE is what my dad has at Ford. Like, and they don't, companies, like jobs don't, there's companies don't have that kind of insurance like they used to. So, retirement, like, that's, sometimes I wonder too, man, if I had just done, I think I told you I was going to do Air Force Reserves, man. Sometimes I wonder, like, just how different my whole path would be if I had just gone. But I was so worried about missing my second son's birth, and there's some other stuff I backed out. So I'm thinking about it, man. So after you got out of the military, what was that like for you? You don't have to go into all the stuff I know about like with the military stuff, but like just kind of like what was the transition like? What job did you do? Because you were doing reserve, so you had to get like a regular job too. Did you go back to
Right.
school? What was that like for you?
Okay, so yeah, joining so after I joined the military, then I was still working at Kohl's. I was able to keep my job there. So I kept my job at Kohl's. When I went back there, I was like, okay, I gotta leave. Cause I started doing the math and I was like, so I was 24 at the time
Yeah,
and I was making like $8.98. And I was like, what on earth am I doing?
yeah.
You know, I just felt like I was missing, like I wasn't challenging myself at all. So then so this was the beginning of my job hopping and just going from job to job.
Call it job jumping, man. Job jumping. It sounds better.
My bad. You said what? Hold
Job
up.
jumping.
Job jumping. Yeah,
We gotta stay
yeah.
with the thing. We gotta stay with the thing. Job jumper
For
journey.
sure. No. I mean, I even said job jumping in one of my songs, and I know that the typical thing is job hopping, but yeah. So that's when I started my job jumping journey.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So right after Kohl's, I went to do housekeeping at Liberty Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I went to I worked at Liberty Hospital for 9 months. Then I went to Truman Medical Center doing the same thing for 6 months. And I never forget this story. This is a little much, but let me tell you.
So I imagine you got a bunch of stories like
When you're cleaning rooms
yeah.
at when you're cleaning people's personal rooms, at a hospital and they're dealing with sicknesses and everything, it's definitely a humbling experience, and like I would definitely be praying for some of the people, and it was tough. But there was one time when there was okay, I'm like viewer discretion is advised. I'm just playing no, but
Go ahead.
there was a bloody turd, okay, inside of the toilet, and I had to plunge it because it was stuck, right? And yeah, at that point I said I will never clean toilets again. And about 2 weeks later, I left that job.
Hey, I don't blame. All right, I was just reading. Have you read the Pursuit of Happiness, the actual book yet?
No.
You gotta read the book because like I feel like the movie only shows like the movie actually only shows like the last half of like last quarter of the book, like, but the book goes into more of like backstory, like his whole childhood and like
okay,
more details of things, and like, and one of the things he had to do was clean bedpans or whatever in the military or something like that. And just hearing those stories like about being humbling, and eventually got used to it. And yeah, I know, that's one of those things. Like things like that make me want to throw up, man. Like how doctors do it, medical, anybody, nurses. I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah. So leaving there after 2 weeks, you said, like you're already there.
No. About 2 weeks later, after I said that, after I said I'm never cleaning up this ish again. Like I did cuss. I was pissed, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
And that's the image in my head now.
So it was a downward spiral as far as like how quickly I would get jobs and leave jobs from then. So it was 9 months at Liberty Hospital, 6 months at Truman Medical Center. Then I worked at what's it called? This is 2015. Then I worked at Harley Davidson for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Then from there I went to this place called I worked for Wonder Bread. So what I was doing at Wonder Bread was I was scraping off. We were basically getting the old Wonder Bread that was bought out by somebody else to be up to code, right? So we were scraping off all the old dough. That stuff, it took forever.
Is that like a
So
contract job? Or
yeah, yeah. At the time, it was a temp job until the guy was like going to hire us on. It was an ambassador services or something like that was the name of the company. This man from Georgia was hiring us on. So I was at that job for about 4 months. Let me see. So yeah, so Truman Medical Center, and then yeah, starting it with Truman Medical Center in 2015. That was the start of the job of like the job jumping in 1 year. So okay, so Truman Medical Center, Harley Davidson, the ambassador place. Then from there, shucks, man, it kind of goes into a blur. I can't lie. I'm trying to think of where else. Shucks.
I think the last job I remember you telling me about was the airport stuff. So you did a lot of things between before you got on with the airport?
Yes, because the airport was February 2016.
Like TSA?
Well, let me think. Airport. Well, I can't remember. I will really have to go back and
so you probably you've at least got like 10 though. I would say 10 jobs.
In the year in 2015, I had 8 different jobs.
Wow, just in 1 year.
Yeah, it was the worst.
Yeah,
it was terrible. And I would sometimes quit jobs without having anything lined up. And just kind of like going out on a whim, like, oh, we'll see what happens. You know, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I'm laughing because I can relate to that stuff, man.
It's terrible thing.
Like when I used to make, mine was a little different because I had a family and I had to, like, it was mostly I had to get like a second and third job, and I was constantly doing all these little side hustles or whatever, and then like sometimes the side hustles suck. I just didn't like it. I would leave it. But I'm just laughing because like every time when I have these conversations, it's good to talk to somebody like you because you can we can relate. But like if I were talking to like my mom or my dad or something like that, especially my mom, that voice is like,
boy, yeah,
like boy. Or people like they make fun of you, but like they don't understand what it's like. They don't understand what it's like when you feel like it's like we already know that we have responsibilities. We're not idiots. Like we know that we need to take care of business. And it's not that we're lazy. It's just that you're just trying to experiment and figure out what's that balance of. You can talk about that here in a little bit. I guess it's like a good point we can wrap up, like finding that balance between just being able to make enough money to survive, and take care of to be able to have your own place and your own, money or whatever, being able to at least, take care of a lady if she's in your life or whatever, and also pursue the things that you really enjoy doing, and being able to somehow make money from that, So, yeah, I guess that's a good segue to kind of wrap things up. Like for you,
sure.
Welcome, Matthew. Thanks for the likes and everything. What was I'm interviewing my good friend here. He knows you. This guy knows you.
Yes, Matthew. Yeah. I'm trying to think which Matthew this is. Matthew.
Yeah, we just wrapping up this interview for Job Jumping Journeys here, man. But yeah, we'll keep rolling with it. I'm trying to think of the best way to ask this question. So you ended up getting on with the airport, right? We'll just fast forward to that. After all the job hopping, how made you choose that? Out of all how did you get on with them?
I I was attempting to transfer um to a different National Guard unit, and this guy uh was like, "Hey man, are you looking for a job?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was like, "Dude, this super easy job doing security at the airport." And I was like, "Ooh, I heard about those." But then he was like, "It's $16 an hour." At that point, I hadn't made that much an hour, and I was just like, "Well, I mean, we'll give it a shot." So I sent out for that job, but then I was also still going for this other job, which was being like a picker or puller um at this place called PBA Health. And I was like, let me go ahead and do this. Um, and so I knocked that out. It was like 13 an hour. And I was like, okay, I was like, let's do this. And then, if things fall out with that job, then I'll try to go back for the airport. Or, just wait to hear back from the airport because at that time I hadn't heard back from them in like a month. And so I was like, whatever, maybe I didn't get it. On my first day at the new job, being a picker and puller, the lady called me and told me I got the job at the airport.
Wow.
And so I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Because I was trying to calm myself down. I was talking to this, I was talking to this girl at the time, and she was like, she was, all this financial stuff. You need to get your life together and all this stuff. And I was just like, not trying to hear, but I was listening. I was listening to everything she was saying, and I was like, all right, let me, because I was like, I don't want to jump to another job. So I told him, I was like, I just started another job today, this and that and this, and she was like, okay. So I was at that job for 3 months, and I was waiting to hear how much people got paid once they got hired on to the job, and it was like 15 cents more, and I was like, oh no, I was like, I'm going, I gotta go. So I called the lady back. I was like, hey, are you guys still looking for for people? And she's like, yeah. And all my information was already turned in. So I was like, I would like to take that job, if it's still available. She said, okay, cool. So then she called me back a couple days later, was like, can you come in? At this time I was like, yes, I can. And I should not have told the guy that I was starting a new job. I should have waited till I was trying to give him heads up, notice. But he just told me to go home. He was like, all right, you can go ahead and leave now.
Wow.
And I was like,
yeah, they don't. Yeah, they're not for you, man. They just, you gotta always kind of. I've learned like sometimes when you're trying to do the right thing, companies want you to do the right thing, but they don't do right by you whenever it's convenient for them. So yeah,
straight up.
So yeah, so he ended up just letting you go. He said, no, you don't even do your 2 weeks. Like, you can go now. Yep. But you were able to get the job at the TSA or whatever, so it wasn't too bad.
That was, I should still be there now, and because what I learned and like how my life changed, my mind began to change, and I started reading a lot more and applying what I was learning, and started, started to save more money, to invest more money, and like things were just opening up for me because I had some freedom. I was paying my debt off. By the time I was done with that, by the time I left that job, which I never should have, I was out of debt, and I was good. I got back into debt later, but that's a whole nother story. But so yeah, what was the question again? So we can wrap this up.
Oh yeah.
Keep talking.
This has been good, man. So overall, like, I guess now, you see, that's hindsight 2020. You're gone from TSA. I guess. So why did you leave? Why did you end up leaving TSA originally?
Things started to get really.
And how long were you there?
6 months.
Okay.
It felt like a year because we worked 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but I was never complaining about my check. Never complaining.
Were you one of the people just like sitting there checking IDs or whatever? Or?
So when you're in that position, you do all positions. as a TSA officer,
Oh,
you do all positions.
yeah.
It's like 30-minute segments, or like rotations. Yeah, 30-minute rotations. You do that, and so it's cool. It's a really easy job, honestly. It is one of the easiest jobs that I've had, and I got paid the most than I did from other jobs. Of course, I'm not like that's a satisfying wage, but it's definitely a livable wage. To live off of 16 or 17 an hour.
Especially in Missouri. Yeah.
You said what?
Especially in Missouri and Kansas City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in Missouri. So getting notifications. But yeah, so golly, I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to think of the question you asked. Yeah, so I left there. Then I started driving a taxi because I originally left to join a bank, to become a teller.
Yeah.
And you remember, because you got me on a Commerce Bank.
Oh,
Yes, you got
yeah. Yep.
That's around the time that we reconnected. Actually,
Yep.
was right then.
Yep. Over on Truce. You're gonna work at the one on Truce, right?
Yep. And I was like, I can't do this. So I told him I didn't want to do it. I didn't have anything lined. I didn't have anything lined up once again. What?
Real quick. What was it about working at the bank that was like for you? Like, what was it like specifically? Was it like the stress from beating the demand of customers, or just like being cooped up in that little time? Like, what was it about the?
Yeah, it was definitely being cooped up in that room, and the one on Truce has that bulletproof glass. It's got that bulletproof glass. I mean, you feel like you're in a prison, man. I felt like I was in a prison for real. I was like, dude, this is not where it's at, man.
Oh man, I really wish they could have put you somewhere like different, because it would have like Brookside, like would have been a better experience for you.
Brookside was beautiful.
I mean, you were a phone teller, right? Or so you had to go?
No. I had to train at what do you call it? Yeah, I had to train at Brookside. And when I went there, I was like, oh, I'm not going back.
It's night and day.
Night and day. I mean, people my age, there were a couple pretty girls there. It was like, and plus Brookside, there's all kind of bad chicks coming in there. It's just that it's encouragement to come to work,
I'm sorry, that location. Even I used to feel bad when I love the people that work there, like my girl Sophia and all whatever. I can't remember that one black dude's name. He played rugby. But anyway,
yes, Michael or something like that.
Yeah. And like, I didn't really know the teller girls, but I don't know. They all seem like they might go off on you though. They had that look. So whenever I walk back there, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Whatever.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Small business or whatever, and I'll walk out. So, man, that's hilarious. So you ended up leaving because you got because you needed a car, right? You needed a vehicle, or you having issues with your car?
Not really at that time. I was just looking for a job, and I didn't have one. I didn't have one at the time because I just quit the
taxi thing over the bank thing. What happened with that timing or whatever? You just had quit, and you were just like, I just need something. My homeboy, the guy I was riding with, I call him Snook. He's like, man, we just need to come up with a meme. Just call it the Yancey. And it's just like all these little memes of me just like leaving a job or whatever. Like whenever somebody leaves a job, like call it the Yancey or whatever.
That's how it is.
But so you got the taxi gig at
Z-Trip 1010.
I call it Z-Trip. So you got on there. Like, how did you even hear about it?
I was looking on Craigslist. That's how desperate I was.
That's how you know, man. You gonna reach a new level.
Boy, I was desperate.
Yeah. So you took that and you drank the Kool-Aid, the $70 a day. We won't have to.
Oh my gosh.
That's a whole nother story. And then, like, so let's just fast forward. Like, we won't even talk. That's a whole nother. Like, you can talk all day about that. So
right.
You did that for a while. That's how I ended up in the taxi game for a minute because you were doing that. Oh, that's some wild stuff, man. I can't believe I did that. All right, but so you all right. Did you do anything after that? Like, or did you? So what do you? I'll just fast forward. What are you doing? So what do you say you're working at now? Which company?
Okay. So at the moment right now, I'm not working right now.
Okay.
So on the 25th of this month, I start an apprenticeship with Anthony Heating and Cooling.
Yeah, it's called Anthony Heating and Cooling. Are you talking about the big one with the? They got the hold on.
They got. Yep.
Your grandpa owns that?
Oh no, no. This is a separate job because I got fired from my last job. That's a whole
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we'll have to go there. We'll talk about that.
I got fired from my last job, which actually this year I got fired from 2 jobs. I've never been fired before.
Wow.
But I was supposed to be fired at another job, but that's another story. My friend Kylie is on here. It's kind of funny because she was a manager at the store that I was supposed to be fired at. It was at Kohl's.
Hey, nothing. If I post this interview, it's not gonna hurt you with your new company, right? Like if I talk about this part, they already know you.
Nope, because I already got the job, so ain't nothing they can do about it.
All right, but you didn't have to did you have to disclose that at all, or you told them about?
No, I did not tell them about that actually.
All right, hopefully they don't. You should be good. Hopefully, it's HVAC, man. It's not like you trying to be a banker. Like that was what sucked about being a banker. Like you felt like you always had to be Mr. President, like Mr. Politician. Like you can't say nothing wrong. Like just don't speak the establishment. Like don't say anything.
Yeah.
Always in your P's and Q's because everybody's.
Yeah.
But anyway, HVAC should be a whole different. Ain't nobody. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm.
Anthony.
Yes. Yeah, my grandpa owns his own a separate business, and I'm open to help him out with some of his runs because he's getting up there. Yeah. I know he's over 70.
I just talked to a dude the other few weeks ago. And he was like, "Yeah, my dad owns a heating and cooling business, and literally all he does, like most of his calls are just replacing the filter because people are lazy about replacing the filters, and they give him a bill." So
stuff is like that's one thing that I've been slacking in is getting a skill. And so I'm like, I know once I get this skill, and I'll be able to invest into my business ideas.
Oh man.
So
all right, very last, I guess, or 2 more questions, and we'll be done here. One is for you. What do you feel like? What do you ultimately feel like you want to do, like long term, like if you could rate 1, 2, 3, or number one, what how you spent the rest of your days, what would you want to do?
Creating whatever it may be. I would love to create positive TV shows, cartoons. I just got this idea for a cartoon the other day after hearing one of my brother's beats. So I would like to create movies and songs and things like that, but especially for black children growing up, for them to see something different than than what is fed to them now.
Wow.
I think that because it's you know, I think that sci-fi is cool, and I'd like to see some movies that maybe are just a little bit extreme, but something to kind of take our minds away from this constant reality of that we have to make sure that we are cautious around cops, that we're saying the right thing, that we're doing this, you know, and I mean, I know this stuff is true, it's real, and I feel like we should tell those things to our children, but I think our children should also enjoy life, you know, and be able to see themselves as something more than just a target or something that needs to be corrected, you know, or that needs to be suppressed and handled in order to thrive in this life. I don't know, but yeah, creating for the rest of my life, is what I want to do for sure.
That's what's up, man. For those that don't know Anthony, he creates a lot of things already. He's done some music. He's working on a project right now. You said, with the funk band, right? Or
oh yes. So I'm a keyboardist in the funk band JC, and the New King of Funk.
Jesus
Stands for Jewel Carter.
New King of Funk.
Stands for Jewel Carter, not Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's my that's what I have going right now, and I look forward to doing more. I'm working on a series right now. Man, I've been slacking major, but I'm working on turning my EP into a series so that people are able to partake in my story, in my journey to the palace, which the palace for me is just like the mindset of continuing and not stopping and not letting anything hold you back. That's like true riches for me.
Wow, we're gonna talk more about that later, man. When we just chopping it up off camera.
Right.
And then last thing, man. Like for you, what kind of advice would you give? I don't know, almost if you could talk to your younger self when you were like 18, like what would you tell yourself at 18?
I would tell myself to not doubt myself when I have the intuition and I have the discernment to know what I can do and to know my limitations, to not limit myself and to not count myself out too early, but to take more chances on anything that I want to do. Yeah, definitely take more chances and to share more of my story and more of myself with people and connect with people more, and not on a basis to look to get anything out of it, but just to connect with people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. You already kind of confirming some things that have been like playing around in my head, but it's like sometimes that voice, especially when you have an entrepreneurial mindset or if you're a creative mindset, like you're not like it makes you feel like you're dying inside if you just follow the path of everybody else, just content with just doing it the corporate way, yeah. So that voice can like drown out all those beliefs, everything you just said. You may believe it in your heart, or you may speak it out loud, but then there's something about like actually moving your hands and your feet and like doing something about it, like going full head steam ahead. Or somebody said recently, when this dude I used to sell cars with, he's like, Aaron, sometimes you gotta jump and not worry about like, would you jump out of a plane without a parachute, knowing that somebody was going to come down and still catch you, like that person to help you, like, so now you gotta, yeah. And even if you jump once and you died, hit that ground or whatever, like, you just gotta keep jumping. Like, I don't know, you can't think back to that time even if you felt like you might have hit splat on the ground and died, like, you're never done until God calls you out of the earth. So,
right.
Man, well, thank you so much for this time, man. Like, this has been like one of the, I always say, like, every interview keeps getting better. Like, I always say this one was better than the last one. They're all good, but this is really good because I actually know you on
right.
the level
Right.
some of the other people I've interviewed so far. So that's why it went a lot longer than usual.
Right.
But it's good. It's real good. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll chat up later, okay? Well, you know, we always stay in touch like every couple weeks or whatever. So
For sure.
all right, man. You have a good night.
Hey, you too. Good to hear from you.
All right, have fun tonight, man.
All right, bro.
Keep creating.
Oh, yeah. Peace.
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 Are you done? Are you done now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.